Hi friends, I'm Parvez, and in this video I'm going to show you that how you can connect your Python code with Microsoft Access database. Now in this video we will learn that how you can create connection between your Python code and also Microsoft Access, how you can insert data, how you can select data, and how you can update and delete the data. Now for this we're going to use a library that's called Pyodbc. Now Pyodbc is an open source Python module that makes accessing odbc databases simple. Now it implements the DB API2 specifications, but it is packed with even more Pythonic convenience. Now the first thing you need to install this, you can just use pip install pyodbc and it will be installed. You can see that it is the latest version for Pyodbc. Now after installing Pyodbc, we need to create just a simple database and in Microsoft Access. So I'm going to just click on blank database and you can just give the name of the database, for example PythonDB, and click on create. So now this is the database and we need to add data in here. Let me just add some data in here. So let me add it in here, and this is the email. Okay, no problem for the ID, and let me just change the field name to email. No, this is name. So name, and also this is email. And let me just add another data in here. And let me just add one more in here. Okay, now this is our simple database, and now we need to save this, and you can give the name for the table. I'm going to just give it users and click on OK. After this, now you need to now after this, this is my PyCharm ID. I'm going to just create a Python file. First we need to check for the available drivers. So for this I'm going to just say Python drivers. First we need to import Pyodbc, and now I need to just create Microsoft Access drivers, and I'm going to just say X for X and Pyodbc drivers. So we are going to check for the drivers in Pyodbc, and we want to just say if access in x.upper, and we want to just print ms access drivers, and we want to add Microsoft Access drivers. Now let me just run this. So you can see that these are the available drivers for Microsoft Access, and we are going to just use the first one. So we need to use this one, Microsoft Access driver. So after this, now we have created our simple database, and now we want to create a connection between our Python code and also this users table. So for this I'm going to create a new Python file, and I want to call it dbcon. We are going to import Pyodbc, And after this we are going to create a try in here, try block, and we can say const string. In here you need to add the path of your database, and also you need to add the driver that you want. Okay, now let me just copy this in here, paste it in here, and like this. Okay, so okay, now in here you can see that this is our driver, and I've already showed you this is Microsoft Access driver. I have said that we are using this driver. Now if you see in here, so we are using this driver. So this is in the driver section, and after that we need to add dbq. We need to add the path of the database in here, so it is in C users and document, and in here you need to add your database name. So it was Python DB, it was Python db.accdb. Now if you see, this is the location of my database. So in the documents we have a Python DB, and this is the database that we want to work. So after this, now we need to connect. We can just use pyodbc.connect, and we need to add const string in here. And after that we want to just print connected to database, and if there was an error we want to just say except pyodbc.error as E, and we want to print the error in here. So error in connection, and we want to print that error. Okay, now right now we have our correct DB name, and if I run this I should receive this connected to database. So we have error in connection, file already in use. Okay, now I think this file is already in use. Let me just run it again. We are going to just save as this. Let me just save as, and so let me just call it at another, for example PyDB. So PyDB, and save it. Okay, now let me just add PyDB in here. So PyDB, and I'm going to run this. So now you can see we're receiving connected to database. So now if I change this, for example, to DB, so I don't have this database, and I should receive an error in here. Now you can see error in connection and could not find the file, and like this we have error. So now let me just make it again to PyDB, and if I run this, so connected. Now right now we have some data in here, but we want to insert data. Now how you can do that, let me just create another Python file and call it insert data. And the first thing I need, I'm going to import Pyodbc, and after that we need to just create a const string in here, and I want to add this spot. Okay, now after this we need to create a connection. We can use the connect method from the Pyodbc, so .connect, and we can add constring in here. Now after this we need to just create a cursor object, so a cursor, and we can just say con.cursor. Now I need to add some users in here. I'm going to just say my user, and I'm going to just create a tuple in here. If you see, I have 5 users in here. Now let me just start from ID 6 in here. So for example, this is data and data at gmail.com. I want to add another data, for example Python, and we can just say Python at gmail.com. We want to just add one more data, Java and Java at gmail.com. So these are the data that we want to add in our Microsoft Access database tables along with these data. So because we are adding 3 data, so for this we need to use execute many. Now if you're adding 1 data, you can use just execute. So we can say execute cursor.execute money, and in here you need to write your query. So it is insert, so insert into users. So this is our table name, and for the values we are going to just add some placeholder in here. And the data that we want, this is my user. And after this we need to just commit the database, so .commit, and also we can just print data inserted. Now if there was any error in the inserting of the data, we can catch that in the except block. So we can just say except pyodbc.error as e, and we are going to just say error, for example in connection or whatever you want. So now we are going to run this. Okay, you can see the data inserted, and now if we see we need to refresh this. Let me refresh this, and you can see that this is the 3 data that we have added using Python code. So this was inserting data. Now also you can select the data. Let me just create another Python file, and I'm going to call it select data, and we want to import Pyodbc, and in the try I'm going to create a constring, and we need to just paste our this database driver and also our database path. And after this we are going to create a connection, pyodbc.connect, and we want to add constring. If there was any error, we are going to just say except pyodbc.error as e, and we want to just print that error, so error in connection. Okay, now in here we want to select or retrieve our data from Microsoft Access. First we need to create a cursor object, so con.cursor. Now we need to execute our query, So execute, and this is select all from users table. And now we want to treat our the data. So for row in cur.fetch all, so we want to fetch all the data, and we want to print the data. So now we are going to run this, and you can see that these are our data that we have retrieved from Microsoft Access database. Now we want to learn about updating data. Now, how you can update data. Let me just create another Python file, and this is update data. We want to import Pyodbc, and we can just create try con string. We add our database driver and database path, and we want to create a connection. So pyodbc.connect, you can add your con string in here. Now let me just create a variable of new name, and I'm going to just for example, I want to change this third ID. So this is my name, and I want to change this. So I'm going to just say updated data, and the user ID is 3. Now we can create a object of cursor. So con.cursor, and after this you can execute your query for updating the data. And we can say update. After that, add the table name. So we want to update users and set name. So we want to set the name. After this, we can specify the ID, which ID we want. So this is placeholder, and now we can add our new name in here, and also the user ID. Also, you need to commit. So .commit, and we can just print data inserted. If there was an error, we can just say except pyodbc.error as e, and we can print the error. So error in connection. Okay, now right now you can see that this is my name, and I want to update this. Let me just run this. So this is data inserted because we need to use data updated. Okay, no problem. So now if I see, you can see that this is updated, and we have updated data in here. So this was updating, and for example, if you want to update another ID, let me update ID 4, and I'm going to just say new updated data. Data updated, and you can see that this is updated. So this was updating the data. Now the last operation that we want to do, that is deleting the data. So let me just create a new Python file, and I'm going to call it deleting data. So now let me just copy this code from the updating, and it's pyodbc. This is the connection, and we don't need this new name, so we just need user ID. For example, I want to remove user ID 3, and now let me just create my except block in here, pyodbc.error as e, and we want to print error in connection. Okay, now in here, first you need to create the object of your cursor, so count.cursor. After this, you need to execute the query, and the query is delete, so delete from users. This is my table name, and where ID is user ID, and we can just say count.commit. You can print that data deleted. And right now we have our third data in here, and we want to delete this. We have error Pyodbc cursor. Okay, we have this is execute. Okay, now you can see data deleted, and you can see that this is deleted. If I refresh this, we don't have the third data. Now we can delete the fourth data, and if I run this, data deleted, and you can see that our fourth data is deleted. So like this you can work with Microsoft Access and also Python. If you want the source codes, you can just check my website geekscoders.com. I have added the link to the video description, and you can get all the source code from there. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also share the video.